Hey guys, thank you so much for coming through to my YouTube channel. This is Simba Studios, a place where we aim to cultivate, equip, and inspire. And if you're new to the channel, why not consider subscribing and also hitting that bell notification so that you are notified every time a new video comes out. But if you're a returning resident, thank you so much for coming again. We appreciate your support for the channel and helping us build our online community. Today's video is going to be a really short one. I just wanted to give you 5 tips, as you've seen in the description below, 5 tips on how to get started with the keyboard. So let's get straight into it. So the first tip I would give when getting started is determine how far you want to go. Is it that you just want to pick it up as a hobby? You want to pick up the keyboard to play in church? You want to start gigging around and doing shows and concerts and weddings and so on and so forth? You know, determining how far you want to go will really help you in terms of how much you invest into your craft. I'm hoping that everybody that has come on here has the mindset to go as far as possible, you know, to be the next Corey Henry or even better, you know. It will be really good if you have the mindset that, you know what, I'm going to go as far as possible. Otherwise, you might consider, I mean, what's the point if you're not going to go as far, right? You know, I don't know. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2. Now, tip number 2 really links in with tip number 1 because it will help you when deciding how much you're going to invest at the very beginning. So tip number 2 is basically get yourself a keyboard. You know, you're gonna need something to practice on, so you need to get yourself a keyboard. I can't say I've played on many, but I've played on a few. So there are a few keyboards that I would recommend you getting started on. Now, I know that my advice on this might be a bit controversial because other people might see things slightly differently. But for me, what I would say is just get something to get yourself started. Just get something to get yourself started. With that being said, I do put a few disclaimers. One of the disclaimers I would put is get a keyboard that is touch sensitive. So it responds to velocity. So what that essentially means is if I press a key softly, the sound of the note will come out softly. But if I press it hard, if I press a key hard, it should also respond in a similar manner. So you want to invest in a keyboard that at least has touch sensitivity. Yeah, that's a really good point. So now when picking a keyboard, you have 2 options. You can either go for a MIDI keyboard or you can go for an actual keyboard that's already preloaded with sounds. So the thing about a MIDI keyboard is that it does not have any sound whatsoever. So what you would need along with your MIDI keyboard is a laptop. And what you need in the laptop is DAW software, digital audio something, workstation, workflow, that's all correct. But anyway, you're gonna need that, okay? You're gonna need some software, for example, like Logic. If you have Macs tend to come with GarageBand. But the good thing about that is that a lot of people nowadays have really good laptops. For example, many people have Macs and MacBooks come with GarageBand, so that's really all you need. So if you've already got a laptop, you can then invest yourself in a MIDI keyboard. See, the keyboard that you see in the background, that one is an MK. It's not an MK. This one is a Keystation 88. This is an M Audio keyboard. It's a MIDI keyboard that I got recently. Semi-weighted keys. It's really nice keyboard actually. And it didn't break my bank. It didn't break my bank. I recently got a MacBook because I wanted to start learning how to record and stuff like that. So I got myself a MIDI keyboard, and that is the one that I got. I would grab it. But tip number 3. So the third tip that I would suggest or that I would give is get yourself a teacher. A teacher is really important. You need somebody to be able to help you progress as you learn your keyboard. The teacher can either be virtual like YouTube, and I know that many musicians nowadays have their websites where they have their packs where they'll have their keyboard lessons for beginner to expert. So yeah, you can either go virtual or have a face-to-face sort of encounter with a teacher. But I would suggest that when you are picking a person to help you, I would say pick somebody that you've heard play, pick somebody that you like their sound, you like how they play, you like how they play. That way you're working towards sounding similar like them. that makes no sense whatsoever. That way, you're working towards improving your sound to sound like the sound that you like. Hey, did I say something? But anyway, you do want to pick yourself a teacher that will help you in that regard. So for myself, I never actually had a keyboard teacher. However, along the way, I have met some really amazing musicians that have helped me learn a few tricks, gave me a few tips. So getting yourself involved with other musicians is super important as well. Other keyboardists, those that are above you or a little bit more, those are ahead of you. You kind of just grab them, pull them to the side and say, hey man, I like what you were playing. Can you show me what you were playing? This is where I currently am. Can you help me spice up my playing a little bit? So it really does help having people around you that are able to guide you in the right way. And that's the same with any instrument, really and truly. So yes, get yourself a teacher. YouTube, there are people, I know this little kid, there's a little kid called Josh. He's a drummer, he plays bass, plays keyboard. Man, that kid is something else, and he's gifted musically. Like, he's never had a teacher, however he picks stuff up like so easily. Some of us are not like that, okay? Some of us are not like that, you know. We need the help, we need the grace, we need somebody to say, hey man, put your finger here and your next finger here and get your little pinky and put your pinky there. You know, some of us need that help, but I mean, we are now here anyway, so we bless God and we thank God for that. I think this is tip number 4. So tip number 4, what is tip number 4? Tip number 4, listen to a lot of different genres. So I listen to gospel music, but in gospel music, there's subgenres in there. So you've got gospel reggae, you've got trap gospel, you've got rap in there, you've got contemporary, you've got country, you've got black gospel, white gospel. You know, you've got many sub-genres in the genre of gospel. I say gospel because that's the only music that I listen to, really truly. But however, for others, you can definitely listen to reggae, listen to many different songs. So what that does is that it helps your ear pick up different chords. You know, you listen to funk, especially funk, jazz. They have a lot of amazing chords, really, especially in jazz and funk. They use a lot of diminished chords, they use a lot of 7s and 6ths and add a lot of 9s and, you know, and sus chords and so on and so forth. So if you listen to that music, your ear will slowly become acquainted with different chords. So when it comes down to learning, or you pick up a new chord, you're like, oh, okay, it sounds like that. It really does help. It just helps your ear pick up different notes. It helps you for inspiration as well. So I would definitely say take some time. Don't just listen to one set of music, but listen to many different types of music. It will really help you as a musician, and it will help you not to become niche. What's the word? Not niched. It will help not lock you in one way of playing, but you will be a jack of all trades. And last and final tip that I would give is don't give up. Okay, so when you're learning something new, it really does take some time. It can take some time sometimes. You know, there'll be days where it's just not working. There'll be days where you become super frustrated. There'll be times when you're just thinking, oh my gosh, do you know what, I just feel like giving up. But just keep at it. Practice makes perfect. Keep at it, keep going, be consistent. You know, if you set yourself aside maybe half an hour a day just to play around on your keyboard is more than sufficient. The key is to be consistent if you want to learn and progress at a good pace. And that's something I didn't do at the beginning. I didn't take the time to sit down and be progressive with my playing. I didn't do that. You know, I wasn't consistent, so it was like on and off, start and stop, start and stop. So I didn't progress as quickly as I could have had I taken the time. Like, for example, this young musician I'm talking about, Josh, he's like 12, 13 now. But because he took the time, I mean, he's a kid, he didn't have anything else to do. He just took the time, and he would be on his drum kit, he'd be on his keyboard, he'd be on his bass, and he's really good now, you know. So it really just does take commitment and time. So those are the 5 tips that I would give and I would throw your way if you want to get started with the keyboard. But that's with every instrument, really and truly. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. Thank you for coming to Simba Studios. Again, if you haven't already done so, please hit that like button, hit the subscribe button and the bell notification, so that when the next video comes out, you will be hearing a little ting, or a little notification will come up on your phone, tablet, whatever it might be, iPhone, iPad. Okay, and we look forward to seeing you next time. So thank you so much. God bless you. Until next time, stay blessed.